There's some double standards that are really bad for genders, but there are some I kind of don't hate. Like there are some that kind of work.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, there's what I find that this is kind of hard to like word in the way I want to, but I find that you'll be happy that there's a stereotype that fits your identity.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly it.
Right. You'll be happy with it because it fits your identity and you want it to be true. Right.
Uh-huh.
So when like you hear something like,
I know I'm shutting the shit right now.
yeah, no, man, do it. If you somebody says something like dumb, like I don't know. I'm trying to find the least offensive.
Be offensive.
Stereotypes.
Be offensive,
Yeah.
bro.
But like if they say something like even positive stereotypes like Asian people are good at math.
Yeah.
Right? If you're an Asian person and you're really good at math, you're gonna be happy. Well, not necessarily, but you might be happy.
You might be happy on some level.
Yeah,
you don't have to always be like loving one thing and hating one thing. You can kind of. I feel like you can have like some parts of it and hate some parts of it.
Yeah, for sure. So like for example, like for us who have Muslim backgrounds, right? We might not love being identified as like terrorists.
Yeah.
Like and stereotypes, right?
And that's not true, but the other brown stereotype that it's true a lot of the times that brown people smell bad, and I believe that's true.
Right, but you would say that, but then even that is.
I need a coaster. I feel like.
Yeah,
These
go
coasters
for
are
it, man. Those are coasters. But then, the thing is, the stereotype of brown people smell bad is something that is almost ethnocentric.
Yeah.
Like brown people
exactly.
smell bad. That's not the end of the question. Brown people smell bad to white people.
Yeah.
Right? Because to everybody, like to maybe everybody else, or maybe their own people, they just smell normal.
Yeah.
Right? And so you can say, oh, brown people smell bad, but I have smelled white people that smell bad
Exactly.
all the time, and like of all colors, of all races, of all ethnicities, like people smell bad all around the world. It's just that culturally speaking,
yeah,
it's different how you perceive it. Like in some countries, they either don't care or it's normal.
Yeah.
But then for them it's not bad.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like things like that are so subjective that to say brown people smell bad or X people are dirty.
Yeah.
Then you're just like who said that? Who was the first person who is going around saying this? Because odds are you trace it back and you're gonna find that it's like a North American person.
Yeah. Well, you see, the thing is,
European.
in those countries where smelling bad is normal, well, they can't smell anything because there's so much pollution
Right.
that they can't. Their lungs are about to explode.
Right, and so like you meet all sorts of brown people who like here in North America, or like not just brown people, but people from like general Asia and many other continents that you meet, and you're just like, oh, you smell bad. Why don't you wear deodorant? Right, and they'll be like, the fuck is deodorant?
Yeah.
You know.
Huh?
What?
Huh?
Thank you for putting it back where it belongs. Next time it was gonna be. No, but like they'll be like, "What's deodorant?" Right? Because maybe like culturally speaking, they don't wear deodorant.
Or it's like in their household, like maybe they live with their parents and their parents make like, I don't know, something that smells really like potent.
Right.
And then like their jackets are in the other room, and then it gets on their jacket.
For sure.
And there's another thing that my dad was telling me about where there are certain scents that we subconsciously associate with certain things. So like cumin, we subconsciously associate it with death. I don't know where that comes from, but if you taste cumin, it doesn't taste like death. It tastes great. But if you smell it on like the street,
some
you're
death
like,
all over my peppers
exactly.
and veggies.
Yeah.
Oh.
You smell it on the street, and it's like, what's going on?
Who dying?
Yeah, who's dying?
Yeah.
And it makes you feel a little off.
Well, I mean, you go into a household and it smells a certain way, and then you realize that they have like maybe fruits up, or they have veggies hanging. Like a lot of cultures have garlic hanging. And
yeah,
like,
I have an Italian friend who has that. He has like the whole like grid type of thing, and he's got like pots and pans hanging out. I was making fun of him for that.
Yeah,
that's like the most Italian thing I've ever
most fucking
seen.
Itai thing you've ever heard.
Is there any like racist slur for Italians?
There are. I know there are.
I need to know.
I know that Italian people consider themselves to be like the people of color of Europe, which is such a load of bullshit.
If anything, it's Hungarians.
Probably yes,
Yeah.
or like Turkish people or something.
Yeah, Turkish people.
They're like
exactly.
the Arabs of Europe.
Turkish people are even Arabs.
Yeah, they are. It's like the least European country in Europe, basically. But what's it called Hungarians, who are basically Russians. Right?
Yeah.
But don't tell them. Don't tell them. Yeah. They'll get upset.
They're gonna come stone you.
Yeah.
And then hit you with a bottle of vodka.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like it's and like everybody like it's the thing, like it's who's saying this, what's their culture, and what would make them say something like that.
Exactly.
And that's it's I don't know, I always find it interesting because like, you know, there's some ethnicities and cultures that are definitely less like they're the least liked all world round. I would say. Like Europeans think of themselves at the top of the fucking world.
Well, I mean, but they are.
I mean,
they are. I've been to
economically speaking.
Not even, but their culture. I've been to Germany, and then when I was in Germany, we took a trip to France. It's amazing. It's amazing. You go to Paris, and there's no fucking billboard. There's no huge McDonald's sign and billboard where it's like 2 kilometers ahead because they don't use miles like a lot of us pigs.
Right. Well, you know, it's. Well,
yeah,
I can see why the appeal to that, because it's kind of like we live in a country that is vastly driven by capitalism.
Exactly. It's like kill or be killed here, when over there it's like, it's fine, have a little bit of wine.
Yeah, I mean, you do see like some very forward things, and then you see some very backward things too. Like you go to France and they have all these like ecological rules and like waste rules, and you're like, wow, they're really ahead of their time, but then they're also fucking racist to like everybody. Exactly. They're just like, you're not French, and then they're just assholes.
Well, but
the whole fucking thing.
I heard Jerry Seinfeld say this: if you had that bread and those women, you'd be the same way.
Yeah, but that's like the excuse for like Denmark and like. And
but it's amazing there.
Yeah, they're just like everything is great. We don't want anybody to fuck it up for us. Exactly. That's why we don't take anybody in.
That's how I feel about. Do you remember in 2016 when the search search traffic for how to move from the U.S. to Canada went up? I was like, no!
Because then we're going to have just all these fucking American idiots walking up to Canada and then expecting it to be America.
Exactly.
Right?
And then eventually it turns America if enough of them move.
Right, exactly. I think that's probably what Europeans are scared of.
Exactly.
Scared of. That if they take in enough immigrants, then they won't be themselves anymore.
Yeah.
And then they'll lose that identity, which they're so attached to, obviously, because like you were saying earlier, the ego, right? Like the things you identify with are so dearly protected that you like would not dare have anything change them, even if some of the shit that you do is absolute garbage and you can benefit from a change, right?
Like, that's why it takes so many generations for like systemic, not even systemic, but just racism to change. Like even in a family, it takes like 3 generations. They say that like for certain, you know the concept of intergenerational trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes like 3 generations for someone to process it.
Yeah.
And
so
I
then,
don't. Yeah.
So like, what if like you were saying, if your mom's got addiction.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where it begins, for example. I don't know.
So after a certain point, it's like, how is this gonna change?
So maybe you're the one.
I am, but I'm not gonna have any kids, so it's gonna be like, hey, that's with me.
Woo!
As soon as I kill myself,
this fucking line ends.
Yeah.
It's like, this is how I'm solving this intergenerational drama.
Exactly.
Trauma. I'm ending the fucking line.
Yeah.
Nobody else needs to do.
Once again, suicide's the answer.
Yeah.
Always the answer.